5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
They ain't never seen nothing like this before. Lit the room when I came through the front door. Ask me if I should overcome, what for? Train in the trees, please walk my sycamore. Touch burning sands, cross lands, and stormy shore seasons in the year, yeah. Ain't no challenge for champions and chain no fear. Yeah, the champions, yeah.
That's right, kiddos. The champ is back. It's a little bit after 10. Little bit itsy weetsies after 10, but I'm trying to get at least the pre-show started. We got to figure out a better pre-show, though. It's like it's just flashing. There's no sound. We need a bunch of sound. Maybe I can put that Wolfpack song on there. We got to do it. I'm your host, Jeremiah Bannister. Every single Monday through Friday, 10 to noon Eastern Time. Today is Thursday, October 29th. Boy, oh boy, we are getting closer all the time to the election. It's getting closer, man. It's getting really, really, really close, isn't it, guys? Oh, my gosh. Let's get to the main banner here. We're going to have a really good show for you. We got a bunch to talk about. We had a lot of good news yesterday. Okay, we had, I don't know, man. I know people get really excited seeing the stuff about big tech, you know? Anybody familiar with the show knows a lot about big tech and kind of the craziness that goes on with that. Not just the fact that people are being shadow banned and censored. I've dealt with that. I've dealt with it. I've been disheartened because, you know, I've been disheartened almost to the point where I've just given up on Twitter. In fact, I'm probably going to do one of those, what are they called, Twexits? A Twexit saying, I'm done. I'm out of here. Not playing around with Twitter anymore. Because, you know, it's one of these things where you spend so much time and you spend so much effort and you're putting out your brand and you're putting out your links and everything else. And then you find out that all your comments and different things are, you know, your comments are shoved into this kind of a folder, the way it's set up, where it's like you have to click on more comments and then you scroll down and then it has a thing that says something like other comments. And I'm in the other comments. I'm just like right straight there. And just it's really upsetting. It's really upsetting. You know, and you put your heart and soul into something. But we don't just know about all that. I mean, all that's, you know, plain as day. We know that they've been censoring the right for a very long time. Anybody who's on the cutting edge, man, anybody who's talking about stuff that really, really, really matters, pretty deep stuff, you know, even Meaning of Catholic, they have so many different, so many of their posts are hidden behind this security measure that's like, oh, if you want to be able to see this post, you better go into your settings and click on 20 different things. It's like, dude, are you serious? You know, even it was, what was it? Something promoting like a Christmas, I think it was last year or something like that, or it was, I forget what it was. But it was something that was just totally not controversial at all. Zero. Nothing. But it was tucked in behind it. But we don't just know about that, right? That's kind of low-hanging fruit at this point. We talk about things to do with what social media actually does to you. Okay, so regardless of all of the censorship, let's say that it wasn't censoring at all. What does social media do to you? What is it as a medium? How does the medium affect you? So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about election news. That's going to be a big one. We're going to talk about COVID, specifically to do with masks and what masks actually mean now. You know, why are we wearing them? What's that all about? What is the science on that? Do we have science on that? Is science being science on masks and science on COVID? Is it being censored? Well, we know that much. It's not even a question. You know, we're going to talk about this. It's going to be a lot of fun. And of course, I want to talk about family. I really do. I want to talk about family. I want to talk about raising kids. You know, kind of just have a regular, just kind of a more heartfelt segment that just talks about, you know, raising children and the reason for that. And, you know, because we spend so much time on the show talking about not just making America great again. That's a vehicle. Right? That's the Trump train is a vehicle. It gets you from one place to another. But the grand scheme of things, that's Christendom. The grand scheme is Christendom. And that's how you make America great again. And it's not just, you know, let's make it great again like it was before. We need to make it better than ever. Okay? We need to make it better than ever because we came from a place that, as much as I love our founders, as much as I love this country and the traditions that we have, the values that we have. Not perfect. Not perfect. We've made mistakes. We've held beliefs that are pretty whack, and we don't believe that stuff anymore. I mean, we've made progress in real ways, not just change. There's a substantial difference between simply changing and progress. And so, we have to ask ourselves, what do we have to do in order to not just change, but to make progress? And at the core of that is family. At the core of that is family. And we're going to read something too. We're going to read something. I might even mix in a couple different readings, some different poems, right? Some different poems. You might be surprised where they come from. You might be surprised, at least by one. So, but we got a lot to talk about. So, real quickly, the only real announcement that I want to make is just to remind everybody that this show's live, okay? So if you're watching it from 10 to noon, it's live, and you can comment, okay? And if you comment, you can be on Facebook, YouTube, you can be on Periscope, DLive, Twitch, any of those places. If you post a comment, it's going to go right to me, and we will do our best to make sure that we reference that. We engage in dialogue. In fact, yesterday was awesome. Yesterday, the last couple days have been really good. Just being able to talk to people, being able to have these conversations and to engage back and forth. It was a really, really, really good time. So make sure you can go ahead and post those comments, and we'll do our best to involve you in the conversation. All right. Let's go ahead and transition, guys. It's the way this works. All right. And before we move on, before we do, I'm jumping ahead. We have a tradition here, and the tradition is pretty simple. You got to raise this glass high, okay, because today is the day the Lord has made. We're going to rejoice. We're going to be glad in it, no matter how difficult this day is, because, we're working. We are working. We're working up a sweat. We're facing the challenges of the day. We're dealing with noises. We're including kids, right? Dealing with those kids and everything else. Dealing with teachers. We're dealing with managers, supervisors, classmates, and coworkers. We're dealing with them, and we got to resolve deep down inside. It's what we do every single time. We resolve deep in our hearts that we are going to never give up, that we are going to keep on smiling, being happy warriors, and we are going to remember always that we are mortal and that we will one day face death, and we don't know when that day will come. And so we raise our glasses high. Or burger. We have people who love to raise their burgers very, very high. Straight to the dome. Through the straw. I'm going to need a lot more of that before this is over. All right, first things first. Make sure to, if you want to be part of National November Writing Month 2020, make sure to sign up. I'm not sponsored by them at all, okay? I get no... This is me because I'm part of this, okay? Because I have decided that I'm going to be part of this. I want to wrap up one of the books that I'm working on, and I want to begin at least to begin another book, right? I'm hoping to finish it. That's my goal, is to finish a novella by the end. The first book that I want to wrap up is about my daughter's life and death with childhood brain cancer, and how that ultimately led to our family's return to the faith. And the second one has to do, it's going to be a similar vein, right? Written in third person still, telling stories of throughout my life and major lessons that I learned where I've traveled, places I've been. Fascinating stories, one and all, right? It's going to be a lot of fun. Controversial. It's going to be controversial. I don't know if certain religious publishers will want to publish that one, because I've been through some stuff. I have been through a couple things in my life, but definitely it's going to be a page turn. It's going to be a real good one, and lots of laughs, lots of tears. Right? It's going to be lots of tears and lots of deep thoughts. You're going to be able to think deeply about your own life. But if you sign up at NaNoWriMo, I am Paleocrat, and I encourage you to check it out over there. All right. Last thing, I guess. I said I didn't have a bunch of announcements. Last thing here. Okay, this is cool. Is my friend Rebecca, right? She's totally amazing. Totally an amazing woman. In fact, I miss her very, very, very dearly. Our whole family does. She's just an amazing person. We used to see her frequently, back when my daughter was still here. She was one of our most staunch Team Tiny dancers, right? She was one of the most staunch members of that family. And she still is to this day. In fact, she may be the staunchest one outside of immediate kin, right? She's extended kin to us at this point. But she found something, and she posted this. She tagged me, and she said, this thing went missing. The minute I brought it into my sewing room, it was intended for Samantha Bannister's outfit for Black Rock. That is a medieval, forgive me. Yes, medieval festival, okay? Not Renaissance fair. There's a difference between them. But she wasn't able to be there because that was the time where stuff started to go down, okay? There's a story behind that in the book about how we weren't able to go to Disney World. Is it Disney World? Yeah, Disney World. Or is it Disneyland? Which one? Which one's down in Florida? I haven't been there, man. I haven't been there. We were supposed to go there. We had a great place to stay for, I think, for 4 or 5 days. We were going to be down there. It was going to be tons of fun. And her cancer progressed. It got really bad. In fact, it was at the end. It was the last month that she was alive. And so we weren't able to go. And everyone was really sad. But everyone was okay with it, right, in our family. And she said, at least I can go to Black Rock. And there, I'm actually a real princess. It was really, it's one of those moments where, like, the whole family is just, like, weeping. And we're all just wrapping our arms around each other and stuff. But it got worse before Black Rock. And she passed away. So she was never able to actually go back. And adding insult to injury, Black Rock is not even around anymore. And it breaks my heart. Black Rock was one of those places. It's like, you know, you have places that you can go to, right, that you can escape. And you go there, and it's like good memories only. And even if there's sad memories and you're crying, you're glad you're crying, right? It's like my daughter's grave to me, right? I don't, but with, you know, cotton candy and stuff, right? And happy fun times in jails you can go into where people throw stuff at you and kids laugh and make you dance around, right? And there's horse jousting. So it's not the same, but that idea of no matter how sad it is, the memories that you may experience being there, you're still glad you're there. It's not around anymore. And it really just breaks my heart. But she didn't make the festival that year. Rebecca looked for it years over and over. And suddenly this morning, it appears sticking out of a bin that she got into all the time. She has no idea how it got there or why it would just be sticking out of the bin. Either way, I see you. Hi, baby girl. Hashtag who saw Sammy. Thank you for that, by the way, Rebecca. I needed that. I've thought about my daughter a lot recently. In fact, I told my wife yesterday, I said, we need to go to Battle Creek. And there's not many reasons to go to Battle Creek. Battle Creek is not like the greatest place in the world, believe me. You know, they don't even hardly make cereal anymore. I mean, it's kind of, to be fair, it's on the up and up, right? Since Trump came in office, I mean, you can literally see things have gotten better over time in Battle Creek. It's not such crap anymore. There's still a lot of garbage there. There's still a lot of blight. It's a tragic situation, but I told her we got to go. And she said, well, why do we got to go there? And I said, because we got to go to Sammy's grave. I have to see my daughter. I have to see her. But I see her in this. Look at that. Look at that cute little owl, too. Can we zoom in that thing? Look at this. I have a tattoo of that on my arm, by the way. It's one of the only tattoos I have. I only have 2, and I'll probably likely only have 2. I may get one more. It's a possibility. All right, moving on. We're already... I said I wasn't going to do a bunch of announcements. And then lo and behold, what do? A bunch of announcements. In the comment section, Rebecca is an amazing person. Yes, absolutely an amazing person. And I've been assured by Brian in the comment section, Disney World is in Florida. Dude, I kind of knew that a little. That's what I thought. I mean, I said Disney World, right? And then I said, is it Disneyland? No, Disney World. Yeah, Disney World. Disney World. Yeah, Cherie in the comments, this is one book I'm eagerly awaiting to read. People have been awaiting to read my book for a while, right? All right, on to the stories. What's this one? Man covers body in 140 pounds of bees. Dude. Guinness World Record. Dude, I think my staff has figured this out, guys. I think they figured out that there's like certain things that I just can't, I can't deal with, you know? Spiders, bees, lots of other things, okay? There's a whole bunch of stuff. And they're like, oh, we figured it out now. We're going to just pump this, show full of a bunch of stories having to do with Jeremiah's terrible fears, his worst nightmares. And that's what they're doing. That is what they are doing to me. And maybe you guys, I tell you guys, go ahead and send stories. I didn't think you would be a bunch of sicko freaks, but you are. You are sick freaks, man. Sick freaks. Oh, and of course there's a video. Dude, Guinness, you are messed up, man. They're like, oh, this seems like a good one. 140 pounds of bees. At this point, do they even have the printed books anymore? I used to have those. I mean, it was fun to see like the fattest guy in the world, the two twins, fattest twins, and they're riding on those mopeds or whatever. Well, they look like mopeds. They're probably full-blown bikes. They're probably Goldwings or something. They're just so big, dude. And they're dressed in the same outfit. Looking like, from the neck up, they look like they'd be, maybe in one of those Southern rock bands from the 70s or something. From the waist down, they look like the entire band fit into an outfit. So that's just the way that goes. But man, why would anybody even do this? Oh, there's a video. Yeah, okay, let's see. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. It's not going to let me play the music. This would be really bad if that happened, man. If this happened and it wasn't able to play the audio through that, I'd be really heartbroken about that, guys. I would be absolutely heartbroken about that. But okay, we're going to go ahead and let's see. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to see here. I'm going to see, just move ahead, just see if there's any other audio that it's going to be able to let us play. Wait a second. Huge leech pulled from young boy's throat. Oh, we're going back, guys. We are going back. We are going back. We're gonna find out real quickly, as a group. We're gonna find out in real time by going to Paleocrat-diaries.com if we're even gonna be able to do the audio. That would really, really upset me if we couldn't, because there's always something. You know what I'm saying? There's always. It's big tech. It's big tech. It's big tech problems. It's big tech problems for Papa. That's what that is. We're gonna find out. Yeah, you can go and you can. Yeah, Paleocrat-diaries.com. By the way, look at this, guys. Look at that. That's me and Samantha. Yeah, dude, I miss that girl so much, man. That's pillow blankets, by the way. That's our longest lasting family tradition. Let's see. Okay, just taking a second. We're going to find out, because if there's no audio, I'm not going to go ahead and even try to play these videos, which would be real heartbreaking, because we have a bunch of really great ones. There's a bunch of really, really good videos, man. We're going to just go ahead and pop up that video. Let's find out. Oh. As you can see, that's from yesterday. Oh my gosh, dude. No, this is just not right, guys. I'm not playing around with this anymore. I'm not playing around with this anymore. This is stupid. This is dumb, dude. Why? Why? Why does this happen? Oh, a Chinese daredevil achieved a Guinness World Record when his body was covered in more than 140 pounds of bees. Why? Why? Oh, I have so many questions, Lord. I have so many questions. Oh, man. Ruan had multiple buckets filled with bees dumped over his head in Yichun City in Jingji province to get the insects to settle on his body. Liang Ming's complement of bees weighed 140 pounds. Yeah, okay. The congregation of insects was enough to earn him the world record. How would you even get to this place, guys? How would you even get to this place in your life? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's up with that? You're like, oh, what are you going to do today? Hey, sweetheart, you want to go on a date? No, I'm sorry. Look, I'm practicing for the Guinness Book. Oh, what are you doing? Are you doing something, you trying to get exercise and run or lift weights or something? What are you trying to do? Oh, no. I put a lot of bees on my face. Can you imagine? Did he start with one? Like, when did he think the first time? He's like, he's looking at the bees and he's kind of like wrangling that bugger in and like putting it on his face. He's like, this is a good idea. I'm going to go places in life one day. I'm going to have the record. Yay! No, dude. No. And what kind of bees, dude? What kind of bees? Murder bees? Yeah, if you don't use murder bees, dude, I don't know about you, buddy. Don't know about you. You might be, okay. Yeah, you got a world record. I hear ya. Try murder bees on for size. Oh, we're back to this. Huge leech is pulled from young boy's throat after it lived there for over a year. Great. Good for him. Good for the people that took it out. Why'd you have to tell us? Aren't there some things, guys, that people could just simply keep to themselves? Don't you think maybe that would be a good idea? We need to do better about that. Sometimes people, there are some things, you should just keep to yourself. The boy been complaining of a sore throat and shortness of breath. COVID, dude. We figured it out. COVID is leeches. That's what we're dealing with, folks. We're dealing with lots of leeches. And you know what? I never even thought of them little buggers. Never even thought of them in the great animal uprising of 2020. Because, you talk about animals and you kind of limit it to, animals. And you don't really think about, like, oh, what's up with these leeches? We've gone there a little. We've talked about spiders. We've talked, of course, about the murder bees. If you want to know more about the great animal uprising, if you're tuning in for the first time and you're like, what the heck is this guy talking about? Look, you're tuned into the right show. You are tuned in. Because now you'll know. Now you will know. We are experiencing a massive uprising of animals all across the globe. It's not even a joke anymore. Not even a joke anymore. Oh, but guess what, guys? Ha, ha, ha. There's no video. We don't have to see this. Ha, 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 ha. You can't scare me. You can't scare me anymore. Oh, my staff thought they had me. What they didn't account for was the technical errors. That's what they didn't. They didn't account for it. Oh, man. A young boy has had a blood-sucking leech removed from his windpipe after suffering a sore throat for over a year. The 5-year-old, oh, dude, dang, son. The 5-year-old from Linkang City in southern China. Look, man, you guys know people who try to pronounce, like, all of the destinations as properly as they can. If you ever, or any foreign word. And I know there's some kind of dignity to that, some kind of professionalism that they know how to pronounce it properly. A foreign word. My buddy Tim Flanders does that. My buddy Tim, he's good at it, man. He tries really hard. He goes, I think he probably just looks up, how do you pronounce this word? I just do the American thing and wing it. That's what I do. That's how you're supposed to do it. I think that's, if you look it up, it says just wing it, like Americans do. Has been complaining of a chronic sore throat. Yeah, we know. He's 5 over there. A chronic sore throat, man. Yeah. Dude, all the stoners. Because I know, look, we're a religious show. We're family friendly. Stuff like that. But I know that there are people who are stoners who watch the show. There's a lot going on in the world and views of stuff like that. And so I know there are people that are like, oh, that kid had a chronic sore throat. Like, I get it. You guys. Shortness of breath and loud snoring at night. Okay, loud snoring. Upon his latest medical appointment at a local hospital, a doctor found a foreign body stuck in the boy's trachea. Dude. Yeah, so the operation, they show it. I don't have to see it. Apparently it was because he was drinking dirty water. So, stay away from that, guys. Let's see. Oh, dude. Like, it'd be one thing if it's one gross story, dude. What are you guys thinking? Oh, my gosh. Doctors in China removed 20 live worms from a man's eye. Oh, I need coffee. I need coffee right now. Oh my gosh, man. This is bad. I can't, no. From his eyelid? Oh. Let's see here. 60-year-old Juan Wan experienced a strange sensation inside his eye a couple months ago. Little he would have thought that its cause would be a cluster of live worms in his eye. And they were recently removed by doctors in China. He initially ignored the slight irritation in his eye. Guys, don't do that. You know? He thought it was due to him being tired. But then the irritation turned into pain. Oh, man. Yeah, but guess what? Can't watch the video. Oh, they were nematodes. Nematodes. What does a nematode look like? But see, now I want to see the video. I mean, it's like, it's one of those things, dude, that you don't want to see, but you kind of do a little. You know you're going to be grossed out, maybe traumatized for the remainder of your life, but you just got to see it. Let me see here. Oh, here's the video. Let me see if we can go ahead and refresh this. I don't know if it's even going to do it. Maybe having serious troubles. What's this one? Chinese man. Really, dude? They put a video on here, but it's I don't think it's gonna work. We got the spiral of death going. Yep, can't do it. Try restarting your device, dude. Oh, dude, it's not big tech. It's a big problem on my side. Don't tell me that you guys didn't see that. I'm going to censor it right now. You didn't see that. What's wrong with this? Okay. Oh, you know what? We're actually just going to skip right over this, man. Because this one I'm familiar with, and you actually have to see it. You have to see it, man. Because it's bride shares toe curling moment. You don't need to see it. You need to hear it. You know, not sure, man. We tried last time, didn't we? We tried, switching over to, a different ether cable or whatever instead of the internet. We have these problems. It's happened maybe once. Oh, no. Oh, a bunch of these are things you got to see. Okay, well, you don't have to watch this one. Okay, I don't think so. Let's see. Grandma's mortified after noticing bag she tried to buy is covered in X-rated animal print. I don't know if we can see this. I don't know if this is something, because as I said, we're a family-friendly show. We don't like to show people things that are, kind of for adults. We have an unlisted show for that. And we still don't even show graphic things. I'm not up there cussing up, like a sailor or nothing. But it is a little bit edgier on that score. Because we talked about, for example, on the unlisted show that you can see at paleocratdiaries.com. In fact, that's the only place you can go to find the link. I haven't shared it anywhere else. So if you want to see the unlisted show, you're going to have to go to paleocratdiaries.com. It's only funny stories. No technical difficulties either. It was smooth sailing, man. It was smooth sailing. Super dupe easy. And so, it was a super amazing good time. And but we talked about a lady who was complaining, a noise pollution complaint, if you know what I'm saying, from the neighbors next door, if you know what I'm saying. So we did talk a little bit about that. A little bit edgy. A little bit edgy. But the grandmother's mortified. Okay, so what? That's not even her. No way. That's not her. That's a stock photo. Why pick that photo? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's up with that? Let's see here. All right. Oh, great. Okay, so here's the picture. I was looking for the picture. Like, all right, so a lady goes and she buys an item, right? You got a specific item in mind. It's always tricky. Nothing ever seems to live up to your expectations. But one woman who was after a new bag recently thought she just found the thing after doing a spot of online shopping. Oh, ooh. Yeah, it's risky business, ain't it, guys? We've talked about the online shopping, like the cakes, for example. We have episodes where stuff to do with the cakes that you say, hey, I want to buy this one, and you order it from some, Facebook shop or something like that, and you're like, oh, it's going to come in perfect, and it comes in and it looks like crap, right? It's like the worst cake you've ever seen, like the Elsa one that looked like the gelada baboons. That thing was hit. It was messed up, dude. Oh, man. I'd have been mad. Not gonna lie. I'd have been upset. I'd have been a grumpy guy, man, being like, you're going to give me my money back. Or you're going to make something that doesn't look like a baboon. That does not look like Elsa. Okay, Elsa's kind of hot. Not going to lie. One of those things. Oh, man. Not as hot as the Roger Rabbit's wife, but you guys know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. The unnamed grandmother who lives in Sydney, Australia. Oh, so it's an anonymous one. So how do we know? How do we know this man was perusing the website of a department store named Meijer? Really? We have a Meijer here. It's spelled differently, though. Wonder if that's like the one, you know, in Australia. That's like how they spell it. They're like, we're only in the Midwest and only near Michigan. I think it's in Ohio, maybe. And they're like, we're there and we're also in Sydney, Australia. Okay. Yeah, it was an affordable tote bag priced at $19.95 with an animal print on it, which she loved. She loved it. Okay, so she's buying from a website of a department store. Okay, I got you. However, on close inspection, she soon realized the print was much raunchier than she thought. Okay, how would we know that? Can you guys, like, figure out what that is, by the way? What is this? Like, if you had to guess, I mean, it's like one of those, what do they call it, Rorschach test? What do they call that thing, man? It's, you know, the ink blots, and you're looking at it, and you're like, oh, I think that, you know, it's a rose. You know, I don't know what this thing is. What is it? What is this? I have no idea. Let's see. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, dude. Who would sell that? Who would sell this? Dude, it's got lizards. It's got lizards, dude. Oh my gosh. And look, you know, for any families watching this, treat this as your science moment. You know, this is like if you went to the zoo and, you know, you saw it. It's going to happen. Look, I was at this farm one time. I don't want to get too deep into this, but just simply say, you know, I was at a farm and we were there for a church event. You know, we're doing some kind of, in fact, it was a messed up play. It's one of those plays where it's like, you're the guy who, you know, I was like the pastor who was, you know, preaching at people, and then I end up dying in a car crash, and then I go before the judgment, and I'm sent to hell, and I don't realize why I'm there, and it's because I was bad and everything, and all this, and it's there to scare you, right? So, like, every person that went, it was like a grandmother, the pumpkin pie bacon grandmother, and the whole mission of the play is to do that whole, to scare the hell out of you, right? That's what that was for. It's kind of like those movies, Thief in the Night, you know, with the little kid with the balloon, and they walk out, and there's the guillotine that comes down, and the little balloon floats away, and you're like, oh, man. And you get super scared, and everybody's raptured out, and the world's in chaos and stuff. That's there to scare the hell out of you. But not very successful, in fact. It would seem as if, you know, that plan, if that is a plan, and I believe it is a plan for them, then it's actually fared very poorly. The world hasn't been listening to that, right? Left Behind is a crappy movie. But I went to this play. I'm doing this play. And as we're preparing for it and everything, I look out. I'm in this barn kind of on the second floor. It looks really cool, man. It was a really cool barn. Really set up for like concerts and stuff. And I'm up there and I look down through the window and I see this horse. And I thought it had 5 legs. I said, what's up with this thing? And then one horse is backing up to the other one. And I'm like, what's going on? And then, boom, this happened. And I said, oh my gosh, dude, I can't believe I'm seeing this. It was, you know, it was troubling. It was very disturbing. But why, for one, what department store would even sell that? I mean, you know what I'm saying? What department store is like, oh, you know, you're looking around, you're checking out all the different purses and stuff, and you see all these designs and everything, and then you get to the one with the animals, you know, the old fever thing happening. Like, wow, dude. Can't believe I saw that. Might need to buy it. Might need to buy it. Influencer lives with 80-kilogram pig. She treats like her child. Oh, man. I'm divided over this, guys. I am divided over this thing. You know, I think if there's a video for this, we're gonna have to play it at a different time. Maybe tomorrow. I'll try to make good on some of these. Maybe we'll do another one of these untitled episodes this weekend at some point, right? And so you got to keep your eye out. I'll make a determination on that by the by the end of tomorrow's show, so you guys you'll know for sure. Is there going to be an unlisted video where you got to go to paleocratdiaries.com? You have to click on the link at the website for that post to be able to even have access to the video, because it won't be public. It's still, to this day, it's still not public, right? I could make it public anytime I want, and anyone would be able to see it. But I say, no, man, you got to go to the website. It's really important. It's important for the mission of the show. It's the most important thing, actually, for the mission of the show. But this pig, I'm kind of divided, because have you guys ever known anybody with a pet pig, by the way? Have you? Have you ever known anybody with a pet pig? I have. I've known one. Yeah. So the thing is, I've known one. And it was creepy, man. It was creepy. And I was stuck. In the situation. I went to a friend's house. It was a girl, admittedly. Went to a girl's house. We weren't dating or nothing, nothing like that. We go to her house, and, I think I was like 21 years old. Go to her house. It's wintertime. Drive out there. We're having a good time. We're talking and stuff. And it starts snowing real badly. And it was snowing kind of badly before that. But I didn't know that it was going to be like a major time storm. And there was no way that I could leave. I mean, it was completely snowed in. And she's way back. I mean, there's this long driveway. So I'm stuck in this house. And it was, I didn't want to be there. I don't like staying like that, with I don't want to be in any kind of situation that people are like, home slice, what's that all about? You know what I mean? And so I'm stuck there, though. And I'm like, what am I going to do? I'm way out in the middle of nowhere. I'm stuck inside of this thing. I can't get out. There's no way. And so I'm like, well, she says you can, sleep in the living room and stuff. And so I end up sleeping in the living room. And thankfully, we were at least close friends. It wasn't like somebody I was just, meeting for the first time or something. And so I'm sitting there walking around the house and everything. And I'm like, yeah, where's the bathroom? And she says, you got to go through the kitchen. It's off to the side. And I walk up to the kitchen and I open that door. And it's kind of dark, and you have the moonlight coming through. So it's kind of got that pale blue light and everything. But everything else is nothing but shadows. And I hear this noise. And it was moving around. You can see it. It's this big thing, man. It was crazy noise. I'm unfamiliar with it. Like, I haven't spent much time around pigs, so I don't really know what's going on with this. And I close the door, and then I like peek in again, and you can hear it moving around. I'm like, dude, I said, you got something in here. She goes, oh, that's my pet pig. And I'm like, what? Open it up, turn the light on, man. That bugger comes at me. He's a happy guy. I don't know that. He's a huge honking pig. Massive, dude. We're talking gigantic. I said, oh, close the door. Oh, he's nice. I'm like, I'll take your word for it. I think I'm going to go write my name in the snow. Right, I'm not going to the bathroom over there. Oh, my gosh, dude. Oh, my gosh. Let's see here. Yeah, Simone Partner, 28, was growing up on a pig-filled farm in Bass. She fell in love with the idea of one day having her very own pig to hang out with at home. I've thought about that a little bit. I've told you guys that I've thought about, pet skunks, for example. I think that would be pretty dope. I've had a pet rabbit. I've had hamsters, gerbils, dogs, cats, of course, fish. Had a bunch of different animals. Never a snake. Wouldn't dare, right? I have a buddy who was telling me, he's like, dude, we were, one of my friends, Brian, him and his wife and the kids spent the weekend last weekend at the house. And, I'm sitting there and they're talking. He's like, dude, I used to have a pet snake. And I'm like, no, dude, I don't remember that at all. He's like, no, I had a couple of them. They're pretty big. And I'm like, no, I really don't remember that. Maybe I blocked it out. I remember he had piranhas. I tried blocking that out, but that's hard to do, man. Those teeth are messed up. Nightmares, dude. Nightmares. Oh, man. Little guy's name is Milo. Oh, and there's a video. Okay, let's see. Is it even going to do it? It's not even going to do it. Not even going to do anything with that. Okay, we're done with that. We're going to, I'll make sure to play that. And you know what? Remember this too, guys. You can go to paleocratdiaries.com right now, or not right now. You know what? Open it up in a new tab. Leave it there. Don't close it. leave it in a new tab, paleocratdiaries.com, because yesterday I did something a little different. We always put the table of contents for each show. So we have the timestamp on the side, timestamp being just it'll say like, right now, I don't know how far we are into this, 45 minutes. So it'd be 4500, and it's a link, and you can click on that, and it will take you in a new tab. It'll take you to the 45-minute mark. So the timestamp is the minute mark for that segment. So all the different stories that we do, sometimes we just say funny stories and list it that way, stuff like that. But yesterday, what we did is I decided to do something a little bit different. So what I did is I put the timestamp there, so you can still just click on the timestamp to take you. That's fine. I doubled up on this. We have the title of what the segment was about, and many of them have a link for that, so you can see the article I was talking about. But right beneath it is the actual video itself, that if you click on that, it will take you exactly to the place in the video that's being talked about. So it's super easy. So there's all together, if you go on yesterday's post for yesterday's show, so I think it's like episode 34, I think, you're going to see just a bunch of videos. And it has the same thumbnail. I wish I could change that for each one, for each segment, but I couldn't. But it's right beneath, and it says queued below. So you'll be able to know, if you click on that link below, it will take you right there. So you can go ahead and you can save it. You can, you can copy and paste that link and share it with your friends, stuff like that. We definitely made it really easy, but that's something we can go ahead and do. Animal control. See another one of these articles. You gotta see another one. You gotta see. It ain't right. This one you don't have to. Well, it doesn't seem like. I can't imagine a video for this. All right, nonstop Christmas radio station launches to lift the spirits of the nation. Christmas has officially been kicked off thanks to Heart Xmas, a radio station dedicated to festive tunes, which is designed to lift the nation's spirits in a tough year. Here's the thing, guys. I don't know. I guess I'm glad it's at least in one place. The problem is, Christmas music is everywhere, and I love Christmas music. In fact, it was a while where it's my favorite season, my favorite season overall. It's my favorite feast of the year. Okay, we celebrate it religiously and traditionally, so it's not just one day for us, and it doesn't begin like it kind of. I'm glad that we all sing and we do different things leading up to that. But at the same time, that day is really unique. We don't actually wish anybody a Merry Christmas until Christmas Eve, right? Because we don't play the game, right? We treat it very traditionally, and everything else. We don't even put little baby Jesus out until Christmas Eve. That's just what we do. But so I like this stuff. I like the music. I think it's festive. I think it's fun. At the same time, at least the traditional stuff, the newer stuff, man, it's hard to find new Christmas music that's any good, man. That's any good. And so the thing is that, having Christmas music all the time, I just don't know, man. I just don't know if that's a good idea, man. It's something that even for me kind of gets on my nerves. Maybe, no, not as much as, living out west down like in Dallas or being out in Palm Springs during Christmas time. That's annoying, right? That's like deep down inside, your heart knows you're supposed to have snow, right? This is obviously some kind of error. Nobody should be living there during Christmas, right? And, because you got to see snow. You got to have cold. You got to do that, man. Yeah, TRN said, this is difficult to watch. Not sure what you mean by that, because we actually had some difficulty watching some of the stuff, man. What do you mean by that? You got to help me out here. Yeah, you got to help me out, dude. One commenter says, I need more caffeine. This is disgusting, right? Talking probably about one of the many gross stories that my staff thought it'd be really funny. But you know what? It actually is going to make for a really hilarious unlisted edition of the show, because you want to laugh. As I said, the last show was great. It was just nothing but fun. We just laughed the entire time. Just had a fun time. Yeah. Ailey says nematodes ate SpongeBob's pineapple house. They did, didn't they? Is that what they really look like, though? Eric said, Eric, yeah, there ain't nothing wrong with dogs and some ostriches getting it on. Yeah, talking about that purse. I don't know, man. Dude, you want to? He said, "Let's get it on." Oh man. Oh, we got to make like a little meme for that, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like have that music. But I don't want to get in trouble for that, man. I don't want to get in trouble for that. I don't. The rules for copyright stuff, man. I mean, and that's such an obvious song. Let's get it on. But dude, yeah, you should get one of those bags for your wife. I bet she would love it. I bet she would love that, man. Oh my gosh. One commenter says, my daughter says that pig is going to eat her. I don't know. I don't know about that. I mean, look, the pigs probably have a prominent place in this uprising, and this might actually be, in the animal uprising of 2020. This may actually be a reason for concern to begin to see more and more people falling prey to the charm of pigs. We'll learn more. We cover that video on the Untitled show, or the Unlisted show. I always say Untitled. The Unlisted show. When we do the Unlisted show, we're gonna learn more, and we'll know for sure. We'll know for sure where that fits in the entire scheme, because it's a major plot. We're talking Illuminati levels. Oh man. Oh wow. So I have this person in the comments. Where is that from? By the way, hold on. I got a weird comment. Is that Twitch, dude? Is that Twitch? Yeah. XW Kawasaki Zer 144140063. Dude, you're fake. And want to become famous? Buy some followers, primes, and views on Big Follow. Blah, 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 blah. Whatever, dude. You're a bot, man. You're weirdo, dude. You're a weirdo, and you're late to the game, man. I'm like famous in that, like, not so famous sense. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm one of those guys who are like, I think I've heard of that guy before. I think I've heard of him. I don't know how I feel about him though. I'm not sure. Sometimes I love him. I think he's really funny. But he talks about really gross stuff, and then he goes off the handles, and he starts talking about really controversial things that are problematic. He makes fun of marginalized groups. No, I don't. There's a lot of fake news, by the way, going on about me. A lot of people. People who say that this show is controversial. What are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? For the first hour of the show, all we do is we talk about nematodes and Christmas music and raccoons, right? Deer. Maybe we'll get in the world of, the murder bees and stuff. You know what I mean? Sure, we talk about other things later. If you stick around. Maybe they do. Maybe they skip ahead and they're like, this doesn't seem very controversial. And I'm like, wait till the second hour. Wait till the second hour. Because apparently, man, I'm edgy. Oh, I'm a little edgy. I need to maybe cool it off on the issues that are, sensitive and a little bit problematic. You got to say it like that. Problematic. Because you know that's how these people say, oh my gosh, he's like major time problematic. Maybe to you, weirdo. Maybe to you. But I'm loved by dozens. So. Dozens! We are loved by dozens, guys. Oh, man. Let's see here. Italian town is auctioning off abandoned homes for just over $1. Dude, hasn't this place actually been doing that for a while? Oh, this one doesn't look nearly as nice. See, I remember seeing stuff years ago, and I've heard that it's still available. It's this really beautiful town, but it's out in the middle of nowhere, right? So, I mean, you're going to be driving quite a ways to get to basically, anywhere. And so there's just a lot of houses, and they're saying, look, we really want people to come, and we really want people to live here. And so, they're like, we don't want to, just become this kind of ghost town. And you don't know about these ghost towns, man. These ghost towns, they get really wicked. When people don't have anything to do and people are leaving town, the only people that shall remain most of the time, well, no, let me say this. A lot of times, the only people that are going to remain are people who, they got issues, right? And you'll start to see people migrate there a lot of times to be around other people who have similar issues. You can see this. There's a documentary about this drug called, what is it called? Crocodile? What is it? Is it crocodile? It's the nastiest thing in the world, man. It might be the nastiest drug in the world. You know, I mean, it's made up of all these crazy things, and people are making it at home. You know, what is it? Eye drops? It's not kerosene, but it's something like that. I mean, it's wicked bad. It's wicked bad, and you are injecting it, right, in your veins. And so a lot of these heroin addicts and stuff, they were addicted to heroin. They started doing the crocodile or whatever. They started doing that, and when they did that, you know, it's so bad it starts eating holes in your skin, in your flesh, and these people, I'm telling you, it's unbelievable to see that people continue to do it, and the kind of addiction that goes on with that, and the way that they talk about, we are all going to die, and this is just, you know, we all know that it's either going to be this time I do it or another time I do it, but either way, I will die this way. It's stunning. And so when these cities like this get hollowed out, bad news. Bad news, man. But this city looks kind of bland, you know, for Italy, especially for Italy. Like, this is, you know, what's going on with all of this? I don't know, man. It just looks like a lot of the same thing. I wonder if they've got other, for $1.18, abandoned homes that have fallen into disrepair. So you're going to be spending some money. Yeah, people left after the 1968 earthquake. Yeah. That's crazy, man. Now the town is ready for the next step. Okay, so they're yeah, that's that the only picture of the town? Yeah, it's the only picture of the town. I would say, you know, look into that. In fact, you know, Ailey, check out that town in Italy that's selling stuff on the cheap. In fact, they may even just be giving away land and homes and stuff because they want people to live there. It looked beautiful in the pictures. If it's nice enough, if it's pretty enough, and if they have Wi-Fi, we have to, you know, or some way that we can connect, you know, with the satellites and stuff, so we can get out the message. We have to be able to continue the show uninterrupted. We might have to move out there. Or at least get, you know, an extra home. I mean, we love the castle here. Castle Paleocrat in Grand Rapids. We love it. You may have seen it in the thumbnail for the show. Oh my gosh. Oh, yes. Asteroid-proof vault set up to ensure future humans have milk and cookies. Dude, yes. Yes, man. This is good news. And it's this is the last bit of news we'll do with this, and then we're going to move on to the serious business. Okay, we got to deal with it. We got to deal with serious business because we have a lot to talk about, guys. We're coming into the second hour. You know, I might even do the Wolfgang, the Wolfpack song for the second hour. You know, but check this out real quick. Makers of Oreos have built a disaster-proof bunker in northern Norway. Yay! And stocked it with powdered milk. What? And their iconic cookies to save humanity. And not just to get publicity. Oh, you think so? They're like, look, this is not just a publicity stunt. Oh, no. And we do the videos. The maker of popular American biscuit Oreos. Biscuit? I know, you know, I get it. Some people have, you know, weird words that don't make any sense that they use for easier words. Kind of like, you know, calling soccer football, you know, that's messed up. That's really messed up. Or calling a cookie a biscuit. No, dude. No. You guys don't get it. That's not a biscuit. Okay? That's a cookie. In fact, cookie just sounds better. Cookie. You a biscuit? No, dude, that's like an adult word. You know, you talk to an adult and you say, "Would you like a biscuit?" You don't talk to you want a biscuit? No, dude. No. Learn to speak English, you English people. Oh. It's gone to rather extreme lengths to protect their cookie. They built an elaborate and apocalypse-proof vault. They know it's coming, guys. They're probably way ahead of us on this, you know. I should probably be looking for the esoteric symbols in all of the, you know, maybe the packaging for Oreos. And maybe, you know, if we connect enough of the dots and the lines, if we see it, you know, we close our eyes or punch ourselves a lot, will be able to see the symbols and know and say, this is what it's about. Or we eat enough cookies. We eat enough cookies, we get the sugar rush, right? Diabetic seizure or something like that. And we'll be able to see. We'll be able to see. Whether it's an asteroid strike, climate change, or economic collapse. Okay, so the first two are fake news. The third one is a possibility. There's a good chance the human race is in for a tough time over the coming century. I'm telling you, these people know that there's something kind of going on. They wouldn't be investing in this if they didn't. They have secret, they probably have secret channels, right? I don't know where they stand, though. It kind of, if you look and you say, well, Oreo has done some pretty, the whole, they're into the LGBTQIA plus everything else, all that. They've been really down with the sickness with that stuff. And so I don't really think that they're on our side at all. But, that might even make them more of a danger, that they know what's going on. So keep an eye, guys. Keep an eye on Oreo. Anything that comes out with that, look for the symbols, because they obviously have an insider or some kind of way to have insider information about what's going on. We got to do that. All right. Yeah. Unbelievable. All right, guys. We are going to, hold on a second. I don't even know why that's in there. Okay, yeah. I see. Yeah, loser pointing. That should be in the meme section. I don't even know why people put this up. Oh, no. I got to do this. I have to do this. I was told, look, we've got a story. And we might go over just a little bit. Forgive me, guys. I apologize. We've had a bunch of issues. Got to focus. Because this is a big deal. This is something I wanted to talk about, things to do with family throughout the show later on. And so this is important. Okay? I was told, I said, this is a great article that kind of leads into what we're talking about. And I was like, okay, well, I gotta at least cover this. Is it Burzum accidentally brought up on first date? This is over at thehardtimes.net. Seattle. Perpetually single man Connor Turner ruined a promising first date last Friday when he brought up the infamous Norwegian black metal one-man solo project. Dude, just think about that all in a row. The infamous Norwegian black metal one-man solo project, Burzum. Surprised onlookers can... Oh, so these were like surprised people watching, and they're like watching the first date, and they're like, oh, this is going well. And then he mentions the Norwegian black metal one-man solo project. And they're like, oh, this is going downhill from here, guys. I don't know what to tell this guy. I don't know what to tell him. Quote, things were going pretty well at first. We were having a good time laughing about how weird working from home can be. Then she asked me what I was listening to these days. Be careful, boys. Well, no, don't. Just lay it on the line. This guy was right. Lay that on the line because... if somebody's going to drop you like it's hot because you happen to like Norwegian black metal one-man solo bands, that's just the way that is. I would say that for anybody, too. Women, same thing. Women, men, doesn't matter. If you're one of those weirdos that's into, there's like exceptions, right? I can imagine, one of them being if you're into, Kamala Harris, her husband, the miming guy. He has that one-man mouth-based band thing going, right? He's doing that stuff at birthday parties and retirement gigs and stuff. Keep that to yourself, right? That should be a private thing for you. Don't let anybody know about that ever. But if it's just, regular music by people who, it's what you're really into, with the exception of the mime crap, then let them know. They don't like you, they don't like you. Then she asked what I was listening to these days, so I just listed a few normie bands. I went into stuff when it went into, downhill, when she said her roommate was into some really weird, creepy-sounding music, and I joked that it must be Burzum. Yeah. So he just brought up this one band. She's like, my roommate's into this weird stuff, this weird music. When she didn't know the reference and I was forced to explain who Varg was, I knew I blew it. Everyone knows that on first dates, you don't bring up politics, religion, or your deep knowledge of black metal. It might be like, what date would that be on, guys? Second, third? Okay. In the comments, it says that it's freezing and chopping for a few seconds. Is that still happening, by the way? Yeah. I apologize if it is, man. It's very upsetting. The offhand mention of the black metal project led to Turner trying to explain not just Brazum, but the entirety of the early 90s Norwegian black metal scene. So he couldn't stop. He couldn't help himself. Look, you can mention something. But don't, leave it at that. Say, oh, yeah, I'm kind of into that. Unless it's like your life is all about that topic. And then you may actually have an enthusiasm you got to work on. That might actually be a flaw. You shouldn't be a hobby horse enthusiast. You shouldn't do that. So yeah, the girl replied, yeah, when Connor mentioned Brazum was from Norway, I figured it had to sound something like ABBA. Nothing says Scandinavian music like ABBA, said Megan Saunders. But then he started talking about something called Transylvanian hunger and how it sucks that everyone involved with Gvult are all Nazi Odinists hell-bent on preserving bloodlines. Apparently, this guy Varg wasn't allowed a guitar in jail, so he recorded synth music and everybody hates it. It was also stupid that it sounded like it could be an abandoned plotline from Game of Thrones. Dude, this is where somebody's like, they're going into all these details. They're like, oh man, but the guy went to jail and he wasn't allowed to do this, and now he did this, and people don't like that. Yeah, I get it. In the comments, my husband has nothing to do with black metal because of their usual hatred for Christianity. Look, I don't know much about black metal, to be quite frank with you. I don't know much about it, right? Other than the symbolism around it, and that's enough to say, well, I don't really, but I have kind of a weird style of music anyway, man. I have a weird style, I like a lot of sad songs, right? Like City in Color. I love City in Color, man. I do, Oh, man. I like a lot more bands than that. I mean, I like, Nirvana, stuff like that. I really enjoy listening to that. I like rap. In fact, I like a lot of music. But just, I can take short amounts of like death metal. Mainly kind of older stuff anyway, like Living Sacrifice. Let's see. Experts note that the divisiveness of black metal can often cause first dates to end much earlier than anticipated. Oh, okay, we're going to get the author. We're going to get a professional here. Quote, most weak, comfortable people are not ready for the power of black metal, said Allen Murder Jorgensen, author of Blood Crime Under Odin's Moon, The Rise of Norwegian Black Metal. If your soul is not as dark as the Pale King's court on the eve of a virgin sacrifice to the she-bear gods of old Europe, you will not understand its meaning. Chicks hate that crap. However, Turner was grateful the date ended, so he didn't have to explain the InfoWars sweatshirt he forgot to hide in the trunk of his car. Yeah, come on, man. Come on. If the lady's going to break up with you over InfoWars shirts, you got to just, ditch her anyway, man. You got to just ditch her anyway. She ain't worth the time, man. All right, guys. Oh, yep. Can't even watch that. Can't even watch that because we got the videos. Can't watch. Dude, we are going to have to do 100%. It's not even a question anymore. We are going to do an unlisted show. We are doing it this weekend. Maybe tomorrow night. Maybe Saturday night. One of those 2 days. You put it on your calendar. Reserve time. Make sure that you got your drink at night handy. Because we're going full bore. Because this video is hilarious. There's a bunch of hilarious videos, man. This is crazy. Oh, man. That's upsetting. But you know what? It gives me a good excuse to do an extra hour. We're going to make it for people exclusive. And remember, this stuff's going to happen for members only, too. We're going to have member-only stuff. In fact, I talked to one guy and was saying that we're going to do member-only content where the link goes out to people who don't just subscribe, but become members. It's a plan. It's a $5 a month plan at Paleocratdiaries.com. I'm grateful for each and every one of you. In fact, I've seen an uptick. Right? We're creeping our way. We're creeping our way up, man, which is why I do this. We do this every single weekday, Monday through Friday from 10 to noon, because we've made that sacrifice to say we're pulling our kids out of the indoctrination factories known as public schools. And I'm sorry to say that. I know that there are some public school teachers that are, staying on the inside and trying their best to just teach math or to just teach English or to just teach history without all the critical theory crap. I know it. The social justice warrior cult Google mindset crap. I know it, but I'm sorry to say it, man. The exodus is happening and people want out now. They want out. And so we've pulled our kids out. They're not making future leaders. I'm sorry to say this. They and you know what? It shouldn't. If public schools were thought of like a public option, for example, that's typically like it's like minimum wage. It should not be a standard for that. It should say, look, if you need the public option, it is what it is. It's a public option. It's not the gold standard. And we've decided we want to send our kids, we want to send them to a place that is going to teach them. Let's see if we can do that here. Yeah. We want to send them to a place that is going to teach them how to live upright lives of reflection, self-examination, righteousness, service to God and to man, education in liberal arts that's well-rounded, that teaches worldviews, that understands that that how our ideas of the world and different topics, how they work together to create men and women, right? To be upstanding family members, upstanding individuals, upstanding churchmen, upstanding people when they come to citizenship, okay? And to equip them in multiple different fields so that they would be at least competent in multiple things rather than hyper-focusing on a specialization here or a specialization there. To say you are a well-rounded person. It's making Renaissance men and women. It's what it's doing. It's what it's doing. And we do this. And so I do this show so that we can not only show the kids diligence with work ethic and say, this is what we do. We push with all of our might. We give the best we can. And when we face difficulties like, I don't know, not having video, or having to look at murder hornets, or worms coming out of eyeballs, and all that stuff, or, all of the craziness going on with the election, and Antifa, and BLM, and all that nonsense, intersectionality, blah, 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 and dealing with that head on, and being able to say, we do it every day. We do it every day, and we don't give up, to show them, to provide that example, and to say, if you would like to become part of that, to say, if I was working a different job, it'd be the same thing. If I was working, if I was working as a consultant, a political consultant, if I was doing that, all right? If I was working as a journalist, that money would help to offset the cost of this education. And so that's why I do this. That's why I do this. To help offset it. To help offset it. All right, let's see here. In the comments, says the Vargas in prison for murder and burning down a church. Okay, so that guy is, he needs to take a knee for Jesus. Seriously, like not a joke. He needs to take a knee for the Lord. Yeah. Ailey says, I have my appointment tomorrow at 9 a.m. Forgot to remind you. What? In the comments, and you're, okay, yeah. Okay, Ailey. Ailey is top notch. But I'm kind of wondering about some of the staff that's alongside her. Wolfgang is a really great guy, right? Lucian is a really great guy, but I just don't know how competent they are on making sure that this technology is working properly. Before the show begins, they're always putting Papa in a terrible place. They're always putting me in a terrible place on the spot. On the spot. Nicodemus says, keep up the good work. Nothing but bullets for bullshit. Yeah, man. Yeah, what's the phrase, man? The only good commie is a dead commie. Whatever that called? Oh, man, yeah. Thank you very much, Nicodemus. Yeah, man. Definitely appreciate that. All right. Now, look, we are going to, I got to fill up one more time with this coffee. We're going to come into the second hour. We might go over, 10 minutes or so. Maybe. We're going to try to cook along, right? We're not, because we've gotten past the difficulties that we face. For that first hour. And this is living. We are a living example of facing things unintended, things that come your way. Maybe your fault, maybe other people's fault. But no matter what, through it all, to have fun, to push with all your might, right? To give it everything you got, because we are living the day that the Lord has made, and we're going to rejoice, right? We're going to be glad in this. We're going to be glad for the interactions that we have with other people, and to see them not as just opportunities to exploit, right? Not that, but to see it and say, you know what? I want to get to know this person. God put that person in my life for a reason. Maybe sometimes just to listen. Maybe sometimes just to be there for a hug. Now, of course, in modern day and age, you might need to hug through a latex screen. Right? You might need to do that, get one of those big masks, or one of those bodysuits from Naked Gun. Remember that one? She was... Oh, man, so slippery slide bodysuit thing. You know what I'm saying? But to be there for that person, right? To be there, to be an example, to live the best you can with a smile on your face, going through hard times and say, yeah, man, we are going to HE double hockey sticks at a bazillion miles an hour down a slippery slide to hell. We're doing that right now. But you know what? In the process, we are giving it everything we got. We are giving it everything we got. We are pushing escape to go back, and we are building up good things in our lives first, in our families, in our churches, in our workplaces, in our schools, in everything that we do, applying kingdom principles, because Christ is king, and everything will be subjected unto him and unto his authority. I am sorry to tell you, if you get upset about that and you say, well, that sounds a little theocratic, and I'm like, well, we kind of have a theocracy. Jesus is Lord. Jesus is Lord. That's just the way that is. Unapologetically, Jesus is Lord. Jesus, man. So we're gonna play this Wolfpack song, and then we're gonna go right into the news again. It's gonna be a whole bunch of fun. So make sure, grab your coffee, raise it high, whatever you've got, raise it high to the sky, and howl at the sun, because it's the second hour. Paleocrat Diaries. Yeah. Whoa. It's like an easy jam, you know what I mean? You're just kind of like, yeah. You got to take a video of yourself, TikToking it. Woo! Ow! Drink it down. Here goes. What? I love you guys. Thank you. Oh, I love the Wolfpack. I love the Wolfpack. It's just the way it is, man. I'm dead serious, man. You guys are amazing. I am so happy to be doing this. You guys just are great people. You're obviously super intelligent. There's a good probability, and I'm talking about 99.7 or 99.8% chance that you're also super duper attractive, right? And influential in your spheres. And you're doing a good job because you're listening to this show. And we're making waves, guys. We are making waves constantly. And there's a lot of these groups, man, making waves. Here's the thing. Seeking power in Jesus' name, Trump sparks a rise of patriot churches. Have you guys seen this, by the way, in your own churches? Have you seen it can go one of two ways. It seems like it is right now. This makes sense, right? In the model that I proposed, it talks about the fact that we have been in a cold civil war that is getting increasingly hot. We may, in fact, be frogs in bubbling water, right? Steaming hot water by this point. And it's a good possibility that we are, right? And by the way, just to let people know, we have to speak boldly in these times. Some people might go, dude, you just said you're a theocrat. Yes, because Christ is king. I mean, what do you call that? What do you call that when you say Christ is king? What do you call that? Yes, do I believe like that the church makes the decisions politically? No. I still believe in different spheres. There's realms. But right? The church has say over issues of moral theology. Right? and has a social teaching that is authoritative, and that there's a big fat ought in the temporal sphere, and there is an obligation for nations to do this. They are obliged, in fact, to do those things, to honor the Lord. You are not permitted, right, in the grand scheme of things, to require laws that are unjust. And more people are starting to figure that out. More people are starting to say, man, I followed this path of man-made kingdoms for a while. I followed the path that says, you know what, well, Jesus shouldn't be involved in politics. We should never, reference things like the Bible. We should never reference things that have to do with religion. We need to keep this really, really super hardcore secular separation of church and state, which is, by the way, cartoon land. That's just their way of saying, look, we need to make sure that Satan reigns. That's what it is. And if they say, well, no, that's not what we're saying, and you say, well, it's so weird because so many people who emphasize that hardcore, they'll also go, man, it's kind of weird, when they look at things to do with the Church of Satan or whatever, and they go and they look at it and they say, man, it's weird. I have a lot in common with that. It seems like they've got a lot of good principles. And it's like, dude, yes, because you don't understand the dimensional dynamic to what's going on in this world. You're looking at it if it's just people, not powers and principalities. Again, sorry to tell you. People just want it that way. And at the bottom of it all, you can bank on this. Sin. The idea, I don't want this person telling me I can't do this. And normally it doesn't have anything to do with stuff that's not sinful. It always has to do with stuff that's sinful. I don't want somebody telling me what I can do with my body. Well, what do you mean by that? Well, I want to be able to abort a kid. Oh, well, okay. You think you're new, by the way? I don't want people to limit my freedom. I don't want, I want to be, what do you mean by that? Well, I want to be able to go onto Pornhub when I want, and I want to be able to watch people do terrible things. I want to be able to do all of this. Or I think prostitution should be illegal and sex work. I don't want you limiting my freedom to that. And then when they get a whole bunch of diseases, they're the same people out there. We need social health care. We need all of the health care for everybody to be paid for by tax funding. Why? Oh, because you are somebody who has multiple things going on because of the sinful worldview that you embrace that will, in all likelihood, land you in a place where you're going to do things that are going to require money. So you don't just want people not... You're saying, I want you to keep your mouth shut against this position. You're not allowed to affect my freedom, but you better pay for me when I have to deal with the consequences. You got to pick and choose. Pick your poison. Pick your poison. But churches, man, people are starting to figure it out, and they're starting to say, look, we've gone down this path for a very long time. We've seen what happens when we divorce God, and we divorce the kingdom principles from the way that from the way that society works. And it's gross. It's balkanized to the extreme. There's no more, even the social gospel, right? This really loose kind of social thing going on. It's like you have the kind of civic religion or whatever. You've got this idea that kind of permeates, at least to degrees, all the different groups, a vast majority of them. And that's some kind of a cohesion where, in principle, you could say, well, if somebody makes a mistake, here's how you treat that. And by and large, that was understood, even accepted by groups with otherwise different opinions. Now, toast. There's no concept anymore of repentance. There's no concept anymore of redemption. There's no concept anymore of penance, right? Things that you do. There's no concept anymore of authority, that there is some place or some person or some source that is able to tell you, number one, what is wrong? What is bad to do? Number two, what do you need to do if you do those things? It's just turned into a matter of law. And it's a terrible thing. It's what cancel culture is about. Think about it. You know, these people, they say this person did something that they don't like. And you say, by what standard? By what authority? Like, where do you get the idea that this particular thing is wrong? And on a scale, how wrong is it? And if you say, well, okay, I say that that's wrong, what do I need to do? Do I need to just change my belief? In that case, somebody could just say, yeah, I was wrong. And people could say, well, you kind of busted me up. I don't know if I really want to be around you. But there would at least be a sense that that person can continue on. Nowadays, it's the everlasting lashing. I'm sorry for being born. I'm sorry for being a cis heteronormative male. I'm sorry for believing in Christian values. Whipping yourself senseless. And for how long? For the remainder of your life. I'm so sorry. Those are things about you you simply cannot change. So what do? You lash yourself senseless. And people are getting tired of that. They're looking at that and saying, dude, that is super dupe creepy. It's super dupe unjust. They don't want anything to do with it. So what do? They find themselves back in church. They find themselves on their knees. They find themselves crying out for God to redeem them and to save their country, to save their churches. But it can go one of two ways, because there are other groups, like I recently heard that First West, well, it used to be called First West in Battle Creek, that's gone down the ways of darkness. It has. Judging everybody and telling them that they are wicked, evil people who need to, take a knee for George Floyd. Because Jesus isn't good enough. Jesus isn't good enough for First West. They have a new saint. They don't believe in saints, by the way. They don't believe in saints in the idea, but boy, oh boy, oh boy, who did they find? George Floyd? They pick terrible, terrible examples, by the way, of individuals. Like you can take saints and say, look at Paul, for example, and say, man, Paul messed up. Paul was involved with the death of Christian people. That's huge. That's huge. But did he end his life off that way? Or did he spend significant amounts of time working to advance the kingdom that at one time he persecuted? What about King David? What about King David and the things that King David did? You could go to each person. You could go through anybody in all of Christian history, and you could go and you could describe that person and say, this person's life is a reason for reflection. But what do? They say, we're going to call a big meeting. We are going to reflect and have these conversations that surround this to realize the problematic nature of ourselves. And who was it? Was it any of the saints? No. 2,000 years of history of people who've given their lives, people who've died unjustly. And what do they pick? George Floyd. That's so offensive, dude. Get out of that church. Leave them. Dude, don't even try. Don't even try anymore to redeem that. They're toast. They're done. They're done, dude. If that's the leadership, what are you going to do? Are you going to keep going back? Get out of there. Let them know. Say, dude, we are booking, man. We are booking out of there. In fact, I think it's the church my sister left. Because I think one Easter, man, she's Eastern Orthodox now. But one Easter, it's kind of like a blend of a mega churchy feel to it, right? Lots and lots of people, big facilities, stuff like that. Seeker-sensitive crap. There's a lot of that going on, by the way, in Battle Creek. Places with the coffee shops outside, and you walk inside, and you got the theater seats and stuff, and the pastor comes up, and he's dressed all, color coordinated with everything going on. He's got a little table out there, and he's like, all right, guys, let's just talk. It's like, dude, no, it's okay. I'll put some headphones in. I'll listen to a rerun of Paleocrat Diaries. That's the way it's going to work. Tucker Carlson. Sorry I went on so long about that. Tucker Carlson, Bobulinski documents intercepted and removed from an overnight package. We aren't going to be able to hear this, but this is the thing. Basically, what happened was the producer of Tucker's show ended up getting a package of a bunch of material to do with Joe Biden. right? And it was given to him. And Tucker, I believe, was out in California, if I'm remembering correctly. He was out west. And they said, look, you need to get that over to us like stat. Okay. So they ended up mailing it. And it was a popular mail carrier. He doesn't say who it was. He said, but we've all used it. So I'm assuming either like UPS, right, or FedEx, one of the two. It's in all likelihood. And he says, that normally it's fine. And it got on the pack, it got on board, and it was flown over. And when it got to the location, it had been tampered with. It had been opened. And stuff was removed. And he says that they call, and they get in contact with corporate. Corporate goes back and tracks the entire thing from beginning to end. Tracks it. Tracks a bunch of the, who had it. They go and they talk to all of them. And guess what? Nothing. Nothing. Mysterious, right? Not Sundance. Over at the conservative treehouse. He said, I review this story from a position that I cannot fully explain. However, I have personal experience, recent experience, with a similar and rather unusual situation that cannot be explained by any method other than DHS surveillance. Here's what I think took place. Here's what he thinks. What say you? The package, likely a FedEx delivery, was intercepted by FBI agents using mechanisms for tracking and surveillance that opened targeting through portals connected to DHS. As an outcome of the U.S. Patriot Act, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security has an agreement in place with mailing shipment companies, public-private services, that essentially allows them a portal to track all in-state and interstate mail deliveries. The FBI has access to this data network in the same way that the FBI has access to federal transportation records. Just like when you book a flight and DHS portals are open that allow FBI to track your movements domestically. This type of portal is also accessed in private company transportation like Uber, Lyft, etc. DHS, and as a consequence, the FBI, can easily track your whereabouts. Without much hesitation, I will bet the FBI was monitoring the communication of Bobulinski. No doubt about it. Especially the FBI, dude. The FBI, we talked about this yesterday, man. We talked about this yesterday, dude. It's corrupt institution. And they use this, well, we've done a couple good things over here. We've done some good stuff over there. And even some of the stuff they say is good, we find out later, like, they can say, we foiled a plot, by the way. There was this violent plot. And then you find out, wow, and they said we had some insiders that gave us information. Then you find out that they're the ones driving the bad plot on the inside to see basically how far will these people go if we're pushing that agenda. And you're like, dude, whoa, bro. Whoa. What's wrong with you guys, man? Yeah, they were definitely monitoring the communication of that guy. No doubt about it. They held on to the laptop for over a year. Oh, nothing to see here. Oh, we're learning that that's bullcrap. By the way, when you follow every single day and you're seeing all of the things coming out about Hunter Biden, you're seeing him standing naked in rooms with girls that look underage, and you see texts that sit there and say that he's not allowed, that he's not only being accused of funky stuff to do with kids who are underage, but he's not even allowed around certain underage people without different other adults there, right? And that the family knows about this. You got that, and you got all these pictures, and you got crack smoking while you're driving, and all of this stuff on this computer, and you go, nothing to see here. We're just gonna sit on that for a year, dude. This is the same group with all the Hillary emails. It's the same group, right? That sat there in coordination with other groups dealing with the Anthony Weiner laptops, the emails. Nothing to see here, guys. No problemo. Oh, yeah, no problemo with the extreme left going in and burning crap down, even in Philadelphia last night, chasing police away, right? Ultimately, crushing police, right? They're sitting there saying, look, we're going to make you run. Police had no control. Police had no control of that particular situation. That's not a problem. Nothing to see here. Oh, but groups like, the white supremacist groups. Are you nuts, dude? Are you insane, bro? By the way, if we lined it up and you sat there and said, okay, let's go find these white supremacist people. There's, even the ADL and other groups, the number of that is so minute, relatively speaking, and ultimately focused in certain places. Whereas BLM and Antifa, all over the place. Show me the manifestos that get the kind of reach that the stuff with Antifa gets. Show me. They're not even getting censored, by the way, on any social media platform. So by that very nature, they're going to have greater virality. Ridiculous, guys. Don't believe them, by the way. If they come out and say crap, they did. They said another thing. What did they say? Hold on. Let's see here. They told, oh yeah, okay. Well, I got to say this first, okay? So the Senate, according to the Daily Caller, the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee has successfully verified all materials, not a little bit, all materials reviewed so far from former Biden family associate Tony Bobulinski. And that's talking about family business in Asia and in Europe. Of course, fake news media gave the shocking report zero coverage. But here, remember, yesterday I was talking about the Senate Intelligence Committee. I was talking yesterday about this these different groups in the Senate and sitting there saying, oh yeah, man, you guys don't know anything about this Senate. When people go, yeah, well, the Senate has said Senate Republicans cleared Joe Biden of any wrongdoing. Yeah, interestingly enough, committee chairman Ron Johnson will not call in Bobulinski to testify before the November election. Of course not, because he's a never Trump goon. He's a uniparty stooge. He's a deep state lover boy, and he's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. And really, if you got down to it, in private conversations, this is just a fact. The reason why the deep staters like him do this is power and control and perception. They believe things like, you know what? If we testify to this, a vice president that is already gone, not vice president anymore. It could be president, that's true. And that's even worse, because he could be. He's going to be marred by doing a bunch of really wicked things that we know that a lot of politicians have done. And sure, it might be illegal. It might be collusion with, enemies and stuff. But the truth is, that's just the way the reality works. And we want to make sure that the perception of the people, that they trust the authority. Now, I understand that to a certain degree. Authority is if you undermine authority, right? The basic idea that authority that is not trusted is not obeyed. Okay? It is not, if it's not perceived in a positive light, it will not be even really referenced in when people are making decisions on what to do. Even if they have a monopoly on that specific domain, that the people would say, well, whatever they say. Look at the fact that our representatives at this point are 10% polling, like nobody cares about them, right? Congressmen, congresswomen, nobody cares. But that's bad. That's bad. But see, here's the thing: is these are the people who emphasize perception over anything else. They say this is all theater, and we just need to make sure that the movie that we're playing to the people, regardless of reality, that it's like a movie. And we're hoping that people will have suspended disbelief. The problem is, people don't have suspended disbelief. They have straight up disbelief. And it's been going on for a long time. And until people say, we need to actually have a change of heart. We need to take a knee for Jesus, and we need to have a change that says we will no longer be stooges and cronies. We're no longer going to play this wicked game. This double standard. We're no longer going to do it, and we are going to demand that when people do it, they're out. We will prosecute you just like we would prosecute anybody else, because ultimately that is what is going to give trust. They don't get that, though. Another lie exposed. Anonymous source for New York Times op-ed revealed as low-level policy advisor for Department of Homeland Security. Dude, of course. Donald Trump tweets, who is Miles Taylor? Said he was anonymous, but I don't know him. Never even heard of him. Just another New York Times scam. He worked in conjunction with them. Also worked for big tech's Google. Now works for fake news CNN. They should fire, shame, and punish everybody. Yeah, look at this guy. Look at this cat. So he goes ahead and he writes this resistance piece. Anonymous resistance. In New York Times, oh, he's a high-level guy. He really knows a whole bunch about everything going on. Susan Hennessy says this. Leaving aside how one feels about Taylor's actions, I'm not sure that the New York Times decision to grant a Department of Homeland Security chief of staff anonymity that for that op-ed and to describe him as a senior administration official holds up especially well. It doesn't. But again, they don't care. This is a movie, folks. This is a movie they want you to watch. Open up your eyes. Open them up. Take in the images. Believe us. And this is one of the reasons why I don't believe in critical theory. It's one of the reasons is because these people that believe in that believe if there's just enough propaganda, we're all going to believe it. Don't they see? Don't they see that we no longer believe that? People no longer, I mean, you're always going to have a bunch of people who do. And maybe over the long run, you're going to have increasing influence when it's coupled with things like institutions, churches, businesses, especially when it's bolstered by the power of a law and the government. But the idea of like just cranking out the same story over and over and over, dude, people don't believe it anymore. They don't even trust the mediums anymore. But here's the problem. Nothing that Biden says or does matters to Democrats. It doesn't matter. Presidential candidate Joe Biden has catastrophic problems that would hobble any candidate in ordinary times. His mental capacity is failing so badly that he appears senile and lost in many of his public appearances. In the unlisted video that we're going to do, in that video, we're going to show one by James Woods that's hilarious. It wouldn't be hilarious if he wasn't such an evil guy, right? Biden. If he wasn't so jacked up, if he wasn't such a liar, and if he wasn't so grotesquely hypocritical, then it wouldn't be funny. But it is funny. And you watch and you're like, dude, this guy can't hardly get out a sentence. All the time, dude. He just sounds like a wreck. He's too mentally and physically tired to campaign. He's been exposed for raking in multi-million-dollar payoffs from China, Ukraine, and Russia while serving as the VP, using his son Hunter to launder the bribes. This is the worst level of corruption. And with the country's worst enemies ever seen in America. But none of it matters. Not to his voters, anyway. It's unbelievable. None of his past matters. They don't even want to hear about it. And if they do by mistake, they plug their ears. If somebody brings it up, no. That's Russian propaganda. How do you know that? Because magic thoughts. Because it worked before. Because I've been grilled over and over to believe it, and I hate somebody so much I was willing to accept it. I hate somebody so much, I'm willing to say and accept almost anything. And look, sometimes it's not even as brazen as that. You know, I remember there was this hardcore SJW chick that I used to be friends with. Not anymore, right? One of those that's like, but we're splitting ways. We're done. But this person shared super dupe fake news about President Trump, and even some of the people, Democrats, pointed this out and said, hey man, that's actually really not true. And she's a person who's always complaining about fake news all the time. And she goes, yeah, but you know what? I'm not going to take it down because it does seem like it could be believable. What? What? Happened numerous times. Just like, that love kind of is blind to many faults, right, of a person. Hatred concocts faults, sees faults that are not there. And they have a perfect defense. They're protected from unwanted information by a media cone of silence, and united as members of a superior tribe. When you have superior values and ideas, you don't need reality checks. You certainly don't need to listen to your opponents, those stupid racists. You don't need to listen to them, stupid dummies, bigots, xenophobic bigots. He probably likes Hitler. What's wrong with you, weirdo? Democratic voters get to feel morally superior while taking care of number one. Their personal income depends on government jobs, regulations. I'm looking at you, Silicon Valley. Or cronyism. Voting Democrat is vital to their self-interest, and they will not be budged by disastrous economic policies, by riots or crime, by loss of our fundamental freedoms. Comfortably self-righteous. They don't even have to admit that their vote is for sale. Yeah. Unbelievable. The beauty of this is that these self-interested Democrats are dreamers. Yeah, it's like, imagine really is their creed, right? Imagine. They love that stuff. They'd probably replace the national anthem with that if they could. That's satanic scumbag crap. It's not comfortable to admit you're out to get all you can from the authoritarian, corrupt, and destructive Democratic Party. So instead, they dream of making the world over into a never-seen-before beautiful and fair and peaceful place, all through the power of government. And that's the amazing thing, guys, because any time that any group has ever tried to do it that way, it's turned out bad. It's turned out mega evil. Tons of people die. But they don't even like talking about them. Isn't this amazing that they can talk about Hitler all day long, but they'll never talk about Mao, Stalin. Oh, no, don't talk about that. Dude, the numbers are catastrophic. The numbers on a relative scale, mind-blowing. Oh, no. No. It's all power politics, guys. It's all power politics. That's over American Greatness, by the way. It's a great article. Why Nothing Biden Says or Does Matters to the Democrats by Karen McQuillan. And this breaks my heart, by the way. This breaks my heart. There's multiple threads we can go with this particular story. One of them being that mental health is a serious problem. Number two, that repeat offenders are really freaking bad examples to try to get everybody pumped up and excited about a cause for justice. Black Lives Matter is rioting in Philly for a man who held a gun to a woman's head and was awaiting trial for threatening to shoot another. This is by Cassandra Fairbanks over at Gateway Pundit. The man who was fatally shot by police after running at them with a knife, sparking violent riots in Philadelphia, previously held a gun to a woman's head and was awaiting trial for threatening to shoot another. Walter Wallace Jr., who was fatally shot on Monday, was also a rapper who had songs about shooting the cops. According to ABC6, guns are a central theme as he rhymes about shooting people, including police. Court records show Wallace was currently awaiting trial for allegedly threatening to shoot a woman and her house up. It gets worse. In 2017, he pled guilty to robbery, assault, and possessing an instrument of crime after kicking down the door of another woman and putting a gun to her head. And in 2013, he pled guilty to assault and resisting arrest after punching a police officer in the face. And apparently, on top of it all, he was on lithium. And we could go down that rabbit hole. And these, of course, are all videos we won't be able to play. But there's a lot of videos on there to go see the mostly peaceful protests. Don't believe them anymore, by the way. This is just a big fat freaking lie. On Monday evening, the rioters looted shops, a police vehicle, lit fires, and ran over a female officer with a truck. If you haven't seen that, you got to see it. Mostly peaceful. Mostly peaceful. These people don't watch, man. They don't look. You want to show somebody, if somebody says mostly peaceful, show them. You know, maybe I'll make a video sometime just of clips over and over and over that show how dangerously violent these protests are, and just say, look, and if they go, well, it's a lot of examples, you know, just go ahead and do it and say, look, you need to take account for this. Violent protests matter. It's true. Now, I am glad, though. Look at this. I'm glad, according to a report from NBC, Walter Wallace Jr.'s cousin called looters thieves and opportunists. Quote, they're stealing because they have the opportunity to go and steal. Do not put my cousin's name on that. Not one of his family members are out there participating in any of it. Sadly, there are literally tens of thousands of people who have. If not in that city, all across the state, all across the country. And we've talked about it before. You don't believe anybody when they sit there and say that, you know, oh, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. Because it does. Let's see here. On to COVID news. Yeah, we're going to have to show this video too sometime. We definitely need to show the video because, I always love seeing interpreters and stuff. And you know, this lady's a clown. What the heck? Another crackpot Democrat. Oregon's health minister dresses as a clown to announce latest coronavirus deaths. Jim Hoft. And look at this. Isn't that symbolic, by the way? Doesn't it actually say something? It's a joke. These people are so strange. Democrat Oregon senior health official Claire Posh announced the latest coronavirus numbers today for the state of Oregon dressed as a clown. This is Oregon, the same state that has had nonstop rioting in its largest city for months now. And that's the other thing. People got to say, look, there's a lot of rioting going on in this city, and it's been all over the place. And let me say this. Go back to Wallace, okay? There's a lesson that they ought to learn with Rosa Parks. I mean it. I mean this. And this is true for any protest movement, okay? The first thing to remember is you don't want to use somebody as your public face of what you're doing that's going to turn out to be a grotesque scumbag. Now, granted, we didn't learn that about Martin Luther King Jr. for a long time. He's a plagiarizing, grotesque, womanizing scumbag. I'm sorry to tell you this, right? He has great words, many of which are plagiarized, but still they're inspiring, and those images are inspiring. Bad people can have inspiring ideas. But the idea with him is at least he had inspiring ideas. He had a way to communicate this. A lot of the people, like Breonna Taylor, right? Breonna Taylor, not a great example. George Floyd, not a great example. And I'm being generous by saying not great. I'm actually meaning really freaking bad. Really, really, really bad example of what you should do to say this is the face of our movement. It's like a balloon that's going to, and it's going to just fly off. Rosa Parks understood this. Rosa Parks was part of an organizing group, right? Everybody thinks she's like the pumpkin pie baking grandmother that one day just said, well, I'm not going to move on the bus. And that's just not true, dude. She didn't just wake up and one day said, I've just had it. Today's the day. Like, she didn't do that. She was part of a group that actually organized this. They had voted numerous times on what to do. And they had used as kind of weather balloons people who had volunteered, and they were young kids. And in that particular situation, the young kids didn't play very well because the idea was, well, they're rascals. These kids are causing problems. They're just teens that are unruly. That's different for an older, grandmother lady, a working mom or whatever. You have a situation where all of a sudden that is iconic. And what's the worst you can say? That she was trained on activism? That she privately met with people to make decisions regarding how they're going to do this and what would need to be done in order to make an impact? That's just how activism works, by the way. This whole organic crap. It's so rare. Oh, this organic movement, dude, bologna sauce. And that's true of almost any any of these protest movements. If masks don't work, why do we keep wearing them? According to a recent study from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, more than 70% of people who tested positive for COVID-19 wore masks. This is CDC, by the way, guys. By contrast, under 4% of those testing positive never wore masks. Couple this with an extensive review of mask studies worldwide, in which the Association of American Physicians and Surgeons determined that typical cloth masks did little to stop the transmission of COVID-19. Although experts like to claim that cloth masks will prevent droplets carrying the virus from reaching others when a person sneezes or coughs, the reality is that most people are probably better off using their elbow and turning away from others. Moreover, the virus can still pass through a cloth mask, and the eyes, which aren't covered, can act as a portal of entry, which is why you got weirdos like Fauci saying, maybe we should be wearing goggles. Dr. Birx, maybe we should be wearing goggles. That's why you got the face shields now. That's why you got the, the moon helmets. Who's this by? Is it August Merritt over at American Progress? And yet the symbolism behind the mask is significant enough for mask mandates and mask shaming to continue. The science was always secondary. As the AAPS writers note, this is shown in the fact that, quote, the recommendation for universal masking was published without a single scientific paper. And look, these mask people, they got to accept this. You want to talk about science? The show does it, man. We're talking about it. Man up. Without a single scientific paper or other information provided to support that cloth masks actually provide any respiratory protection. Rather, masks were a tool for spreading awareness and keeping Americans in fear of the virus that posed minimal risk to the great majority of the population. In hindsight, we're going to look at this, and dude, there's going to be great amounts of shame. There's going to be great amounts of shame. This is a yellow cake moment, by the way, guys. It's a yellow cake moment on steroids, right? This is one of those things, because even the Iraq War didn't ravage our economy like this. No way. It was a miserable political decision, but it didn't do this. At least not to our own country. And look at the way that people have repented. Look at all the neocons, dude. Go watch anybody over at Fox News, basically. Masks may not be able to block COVID, but increasingly they block common sense from the wearers. After so many months of mandates and propaganda. Let's see here. Sorry about that. People have a lot invested in their understanding of what it means to be good, faithful American embodied in the face mask. But it wasn't that way at first. And think about this, by the way. And I know I'm just reading this. It's a great story, and I want you to understand this. In May and June, soon after states were reopening from their lockdowns, masks were an extra precaution taken by people simply being courteous toward other people. The idea wasn't to prevent one from being infected, but from infecting other people. At that time, the mask conferred easy moral superiority to the wearer, who could claim he was doing his part to help other people. But then came the mandates. Then came the closures. Like Libertas, closed down, by the way. Closed down. And they were saying, well, some of the teachers had contracted COVID. 0 students, man. None. 0. Shut down. Look at there was wasn't a gym? Was it a yoga place? What was? No, chiropractic. It's a chiropractor. Shut down. Barbershop. Shut down. Gymnasiums. Shut down. Everywhere shut down. You better wear that mask. And if they find out you ain't wearing that mask, in comes the brown shirts. In comes the brown shirts. Of course, they were intended to enable safe reopening for the states. But most governments maintain closure of public areas and tight restrictions on building capacity. It wasn't enough to stand 6 feet apart. People had to wear masks now, too. Do you see that gradual changed, by the way? Do you even have the capacity to remember and recall? We do here. Because we care about history. We aren't lost in the blur of current events. We talk about them. We're not lost in the blur, which is why we have such good analysis, by the way. And that's when masks became a partisan issue. Because progressives began to see them as badges of civic duty, and many were willing to go even further, wearing masks outdoors, at home, and alone in cars. In the final phase, the mask's symbolism has now taken on spiritual and psychological dimensions. Most of them now treat it as an unquestionable article of faith. This is amazing, by the way. The mask represents mankind overcoming the virus. It's like the Muslim hijab or the Catholic veil, indicating modesty and reverence to God. The mask indicates modesty and reverence before the virus, like the yin-yang circle reflecting the cosmic forces of light and darkness in harmony with one another. The mask reflects the life forces of infection and recovery in harmony with one another. No one should underestimate. I'll move on after this. As I said, we're going to go over, guys. No one should underestimate how strong and widespread this belief in masks is. For many, they are a source of profound security. They're secure from the virus, from immorality, and in the promise of societal approval. Their masks even empower them to become puritanical and judgmental. With full-throated conviction, they'll blame victims of COVID-19 for not wearing masks and for lacking sufficient faith in the mask. They'll insist on quarantining them and their family members for 2 weeks, no matter what. In most cases, it's difficult to determine whether this is a health precaution designed to mitigate spread or a punishment for being near the virus in the first place. And this ending, man. Many people who are frustrated with the masking simply want to return to mask-free normality. By the way, we're promised that's not going to happen. But it isn't so simple. Asking a person to take off his mask now means asking him to take off all that mask has come to mean. Removing it means removing one's safety, one's sense of belonging, one's values. It's probably why face mask wearing has even become an addiction in a developed country like Japan. They were originally used to help with hay fever, but are now used all year round for whatever reason. It's a big deal. It's a big, big problem. It's a big, big problem. Speaking of another big problem, this is rich. Tech tyrants. Tech tyrants, right? Jack Dorsey from Twitter and Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook are arguing that stripping them of 230 protections, and that's the protection that says that you can't sue them, by the way, among other things, will harm free speech online. Since late 2016, after the election of Donald Trump as president, the tech tyrants have been censoring and banning non-approved conservative content on their platforms. Partners in crime at Google have blacklisted conservative websites in their algorithm and search results. Totally true, man. We've seen this for a long time. In fact, Gateway Pundit did published a study, and I wish we could actually read this. You cannot. It's on Scribd. Well, if you have Scribd, if you're a member, whatever, you can go check it out. In June of 2018, the Gateway Pundit published a study of top conservative news outlets, and we found that Facebook had eliminated 93% of traffic to top conservative websites since the election. That's in 2018. That's in 2018. Unbelievable. Facebook began eliminating conservative content after 2016. A lot of these websites have gone out of business. Yeah, you can see this. Look at this. Traffic to selected conservative news sites, 93.7 million down to 6.8 million. Think about that, man. Think about that. So they come in and they ask questions like this. You have Jack from Twitter. The concept of good faith is what's being challenged by many of you today. Some of you don't trust that we're acting in good faith. No, we don't actually. We don't believe that you're acting in good faith at all. In fact, we know you're not. We know if you look up stuff, by the way, you look up, take for example, and I was talking to somebody about this recently, man, I don't even believe in flat Earth, right? I'm not a geocentrist. I do not believe in flat Earth. I believe in science. I believe it very, very strongly. It gets me in trouble with some of my more fundamentalist friends. Believe me. And the thing is that I can look at this and still say, regardless of what I believe about flat Earth and about those people, try looking it up sometime. They had videos that would be in the millions to be watched, where and even if you say, well, man, these videos were misleading, or these videos, had examples of things that they're just basically trying to poke shots in the trustworthiness of NASA, for example. Which a lot of that's what it is. I mean, they're saying, they'll blame green screens. So they'll say, well, you got a green screen problem with NASA, the ISS and all this. They'll show videos, sometimes pretty fascinating, right, on like some of our first images, maybe even our first image of the Earth and how it was taken from inside of the shuttle with a piece of paper covering a window to give it its shape. You can see it. You can find it. It's hard, but you can find it. But now you can go online and you can look up these things, and you're going to have videos on there. CNN. It might even have 5,000 views. Top of the chart. All these videos, they may be way down there. And you look and you say, it's obviously stacked. It's obviously stacked. And with the mass removal of QAnon, bro, I don't even believe. I remember I tried, I always go and I check out these conspiracies, right? I've had a lot of fun throughout my life familiarizing myself with them, and I'm able to talk about a great number of them with some degree of fluency, which is great because I can say I don't believe this or that, or I reject that outright, and I'm able to distinguish, right? Eat the meat, spit out the bone type of thing. And we need to be able to do that with Q, because Q, look, someone can say, well, they were wrong about this or wrong about that, but the idea of telling them they cannot publish, people who are religious need to be worried. They need to be worried about this, because if they sit there, the people running this are scientistic. That's their claim. So they claim to be scientistic. The algorithm acts accordingly. If you promote something that goes against that, are you disseminating that information? And why couldn't Q just simply say it's a matter of our faith? Don't you see the danger of this? And he says, some of you don't trust we're acting in good faith. No, because we know you're not. The problem I want to focus on solving. How do services like Twitter earn your trust? By not doing what you've been doing now for years, dude. By reinstating people. You reinstate those groups. In fact, you're going to have to do a lot more than that. But so do we. We need to do a lot more than that. Oh, yeah. For example, look at this. Here's another group that I don't agree with. On either side of this one, whether I agree or not. You got Khomeini, right? In Iran. And what does he say? The next question to ask, and he can publish this, and he's not being shadow banned. And he makes a good point. The next question to ask is, why is it a crime to raise doubts about the Holocaust? Now, he's not even saying to deny it, full bore. He might, but that's not necessarily the conclusion of what he's saying. He said, why should anyone who writes about such doubts be imprisoned while insulting the prophet is allowed? That's a valid point. I can sit there and say, I can say that about Farrakhan. I can say that about Khomeini. I can say that about anybody who's, involved in groups that I don't even support. But to say, look, why are these people imprisoned, by the way? Why are they removing all of these things? Why are they making it impossible to find it? Why are they doing mass deplatforming? Why are they doing this? It's not right. It's anti-American, by the way, and it should be against the law. In fact, it probably is, which is why that's why they're begging, please don't take this away, because then you could sue the living snot out of them. You could sue the living snot out of them. I'll end on this, okay? And then we'll do memes. I'll end on this. Some of this responsibility is ourselves. Some of this responsibility is things that we can do as individuals and as families. Because making America great again starts with Jesus, right? And then the family. And the family is extremely important, and we need to be aware of the times, aware of technologies, for example, especially in a world where we're surrounded by them all the time. We're using one right now. In fact, we might be using multiple technologies. Okay? The CEO of, this is to think about. The CEO of Pepsi was recorded saying he'd never let his family touch any of the products. Mark Zuckerberg puts tape over his laptop's camera and microphone. Steve Jobs banned his kids from using the iPad. What's the guy's name? McAfee? I think he has like a lead box, basically, that he puts his phone in. Bad, dude. Bill Gates strictly limited his children's tech use. And the CEO of McDonald's claims he doesn't even eat his own company's food. We need to think about things like this and decide for ourselves and for our families the best way to respond to this, because we can complain all day long. But the truth is, we've got a lot of things in our own lives that we have control over. We don't have control. We don't have control over big tech. We don't have, not even our congressmen, because a lot of them are controlled by big tech because they receive tons of money. But not only do we not receive tons of money, but we're constantly getting our information scraped all the time by entities that we would not even be willing, if we had to choose, to be willing to allow that person to have any information about us whatsoever. But we don't think about issues like privacy. We don't think about it. We don't think about issues like, and when we do, we don't think about it very deeply. We don't think about, we don't realize that every time we push okay to these to these rules that are apps and stuff. Okay, yeah, I've read the conditions, I've read the rules. Yeah, no, you haven't. No, hardly anybody does. But those are important, and that's part of the reason why we have such a problem. Most individuals probably don't even have a working knowledge of what in the world surveillance capitalism is and how it works. And we can say, man, it's actually gotten better. I could say, look, surveillance capitalism has gotten better. Look at the way that the Facebook and other groups target ads now. They're more, at least for me, speaking anecdotally, at least for me, they're far more accurate. I've actually clicked on a number of them. I'm interested in what it does. The only way that they actually know how to do that is because they gather so much of your information that they technically know more about you and your day that you will have tomorrow than you even know about yourself. And it's wicked bad. It's wicked bad. And we have to think of ways to restrain it. And we're going to talk about that tomorrow. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. You know, and I have, there's a couple pieces. And I wanted to read at least maybe two of them. I think I'm going to save the one about family. I'm going to do that tomorrow. But I had one that was a lament. It was a lamentation for the country and for the church, man. For the church first, for the country second, right? For the family second, right? For politics third. God, kin, and country. In that order. God, kin, and country. And here's what it reads. I want you to think about these words, man. With wings outstretched, you used to fly, good and evil far below, to watch as men live and die, how they reap and how they sow. You saw the truth, you heard the lie of all they do and do not know. Were they distant? Were they nigh? There was beauty, there was woe. I mourn the day you clipped your wings, the moment you fell from grace. A simple dirge this lover sings of a flight none can retrace. Weeping as a lone church bell rings, abhorring this unfinished race. It's the fate of queens and kings, of all that men embrace. Stars are lonely, they've lost a friend. The pale moon cries above. These seamless skies no man can rend, be it with a push or a shove. But what lacked your choice would lend, something sadly not unheard of. Crying quits before the end, preferring the world to love. I thought about that. And I said, that's where we are, guys. That's where we are. We're at a place. In fact, I'll leave it at that. I'll save the other one for the other one or two for tomorrow. One of them has to do with a story about eating bits of string. And we'll talk about that when we talk about social media and kids and raising kids. In fact, tomorrow, Family First Friday, we're going to make it just kid central, dude. We're going to make it kid central, parent central. It's what it's going to be. Okay, I might even just say scrap it for a lot of the stories and just say, look, you know, we talk about news all the time, but we got to hit family first. We have to focus. And, you know, maybe we'll cover the basics. We're not going to get into any deep dive analysis of stuff. We do this all the time. And instead, we're going to focus on the things that matter most, where the heart is. Because in the grand scheme of things, let me say it. In the grand scheme, it's the most important thing. It's the most important thing. That we, you know, having taken a knee to God, realizing our place as creatures in a created order, right? With authority and hierarchy, with rules that we must abide by, with nature, right? Human nature, with ways of the world that we understand, not only through experience, but through revelation as well. In fact, foremost. And to realize that that belief impacts everything we do, starting with ourselves and with our family. And branches out from there. Whether that be, you know, the state, whatever it be, our businesses, it starts there. And family, by the way, including the family of God. So church, family. We'll talk about it tomorrow. It's going to be a whole bunch of fun. So make sure you tune in tomorrow. And before we go to the memes real quick, make sure, man, you got to go. In fact, we'll switch over right now to the memes. Let's see here. Let's see. So before the end of the show, you have to go paleocratdiaries.com. I will put together, you know, I might even just set it up as a premiere. So that way it's an unlisted premiere and you can just, we'll try to get the link as soon as we can to you. Hopefully before 3 o'clock, you'll be able to find out when the unlisted video, it's going to be secret. Okay. You won't be able to go on YouTube and say, oh, I'm going to his YouTube channel. You won't be able to go to Facebook and watch it on Facebook. You won't be able to do anything like that. You have to go to the .com. And we're going to show all the videos that we weren't able to show today. So all the videos that we have that we weren't able to show because of big tech difficulties for Papa Bear, okay? We're going to show those because it's hilarious. And only the funny ones, man. We're just going to have a fun time. And it'll be more laid back, right? It'll be more laid back. We can have conversations, man. We'll see how long it goes. The last one went for an hour. I anticipated a half an hour. It went for an hour. It was a really amazing time. So you're going to definitely want to go there. All right. Now, moving on to the memes. Before we go, make sure if you love this stuff, share with your friends. It's always a bunch of fun. All right. The world is yours. Okay. I don't know. Wow. Okay. So they've got, what's this all about? Like, why don't I, you know, okay, these ladies got bags over their heads. And it's, well, I mean, I like that outfit. You know what I mean? That's kind of that style that I said recently I miss. I wish would come back. You know, I wish ladies would be more, you know, less dressed like dudes and more like chicks. It's kind of the way I view things, right? I think that men and women are very different, and I think that should be reflected in the way that we even dress. Look at this. What? Dude, what is going on with this? Why are you showing me all this? So, okay, look, what I guess this goes to prove is that you may dress really modestly and look really feminine and stuff like that. It might be kind of hot, you know, wearing the babushka hat and everything. But you're also, you know, wearing weird cones over your face. Why? Oh, okay. Yeah, I got it. So this is like, you know, just because you're really good about doing all those things and you live in a better time and everything else, you might still be susceptible to some pretty dumb junk. And by the looks of it, you know, these are people who were convinced to, you know, wear masks. What time frame is this, by the way? What was this in response to? Oh, man. If you got the answer, let me know. Kind of like if you've got the answer to the question, what do you get when you mix a mouse and Count Dracula? If you send that to me at paleocratdiaries@gmail.com, if you send that to me, you will win a book from the very, very big and beautiful library that I've got here at Paleocrat headquarters, the Paleocrat Castle in Grand Rapids, Michigan. All right. My cat always wakes me up at 4. Today I woke him up first. Dude, look at him. Dude, my cat does this every time I lay down, man. My cat, Lion, he's always busting in, and I'll have the blanket up, and he's like whapping my face. He's like, He tries to reach his arm into the blankets to scooch the blankets because he likes to get all the way under the blankets and curl up really, really tight to my body. He's pretty respectful in the morning. I'm not going to lie. He makes it hard to go to bed, but he makes it easy to stay asleep. 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. What's this? Are we going to have a... Okay, yeah, I got you. Are we going to have a problem? Yeah, you're playing a dangerous game, boy. Oh, dude, look at that thing. Oh, that's like a switchblade. Like you push the button, it's like, boing. You know, pretty cool, though, man. I mean, you could walk around with the Wii, nobody would know. Don't Nintendo 60 force me to use this. Yeah. But see, it shouldn't be a dagger, dude. It should be like, you know, a lightsaber. What's the last one? Back off. I have a switch blade. Oh, no. Okay. Oh, that's a badum moment. Oh, look at this. This is nice. Babe, can I ask you a question? Sure, sweetheart. What is it? Why are you with me? Because I love you. I know, but this is the lady's toilet, and I'm trying to, you know, go Duke. Dude, you should not be in there, bro. You should not be in there. Hey, you know, I used to think, like, you know, when I would talk, I'd say, you know, you're so comfortable with each other that, you know, you could be in the bathroom at the same time. It's not very right. I think it's like one of those things that it's like, you know, that the ladies do, kind of like farting. But it really is one of those things that are like, you know, you should consider keeping that to yourself. And trust me, I will stay away. Because it's better to just think that the ladies don't fart. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe I got some listeners, ladies, that are like, dude, I love ripping it. I'm like, I don't know about that. Maybe, you know, what's wrong with you? Weirdos. Historical figures. Actors playing historical figures. It's true, man. It's kind of like Dr. Fauci being played by what is he going to be played by? Brad Pitt? Have you seen Fauci's nose, by the way? Have you seen his little rat face? Yeah, this is true. It's also, you could put in there, you know, actual me, selfie me kind of thing. My ancestors who had to hunt and fight wild animal for food, watching me have a panic attack over calling to order pizza. Look at the face, dude. They're looking down just like, really, guys? We hunted for food. And you're like, so am I. I'm hunting online. There's a lot of coupons. Oh, my gosh. Illuminati. I didn't know anything about this. I kind of like that word, though. What do you guys think about that word? Illuminati. Adjective. When she's a good girl but is bad for you. Dang. You know, yeah. There are some girls like that. There are some girls like that I know. I thought Shorty was all innocent and, you know, junk, but she's Illuminati. Yeah. Okay. I'm Aries. Do you guys like these, by the way? The ones with the, you know, like the lady from the past, the lady from the present, the bro from the present, and, you know, somebody else. So you guys, let's see here. I'm Aries. No, I'm Libra. We can't be friends. Okay, so the girls are like that. Then it says, boys, what's your zodiac sign? And the dude's like, what's up? I know people, man. I know people are like, you know, what zodiac sign are you? I've heard them all done. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of some garbage, dude. I don't put a lot of stock in that voodoo nonsense. Dude. You gotta leave that stuff for the birds. Seriously, that might be a good plan. You leave it for the birds, you know, it's going to, you know, get them caught up in internal strife and debates and division. It's like a, you know, divide and conquer tactic. You know, let's give astrology to the birds. It's for you guys. We're going to completely neuter, right? Make impotent the strategies that they've got and the power that they've assembled, right? And built up over the years in anticipation of the great animal uprising. It's begun now in 2020. Tesco Express. Goodness gracious alive. Dude. No. Okay, look at, I don't know. What do you guys think of that? You know, would you wear that? You can see the lady on the inside. Dude, it's a lady. Yeah. She's like, I am super duper protected against the virus. How would you inflate that, man? It has to have like a little button or whatever. Oh my gosh. I'm walking around in my space suit. I'm never going to get the virus. Oh, and she's wearing a mask inside of it. Oh, no. Oh, my gosh, dude. She's wearing a mask inside of the suit. Oh. Sir, if you want to get rough, we can settle... What is this? Sir, if you want to get rough, we can settle this in the parking lot. No, why? No, this is a little bit low-hanging fruit, but honestly, look, this is where we're going. This is the future that you can anticipate if we don't take action. We need to unite as people. Right now, we need to unite. In the comments, Ailey says that the girl in the meme with the husband who's sitting on her lap, she's out of toilet paper. Look, it's one reason why you get married, is to let your partner know. You say, let your spouse know, I'm out of toilet paper. It's also why you have kids, It's also why you got kids. Because you might be, using bathrooms separately. You have a bathroom exclusive to your own, fragrance. And you say, I got this bathroom, you got that bathroom. And we don't mix it, that way you never walk in and go, oh, goodness gracious. And a person's like, oops, I'm so sorry, I farted. Or, oh my gosh, I had diarrhea. I'm like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know about that. I don't want to think of you in that light. It's not good. Not good. Oh, yeah. Now, this guy is cute. Is this even real? No way. No way, man. Is that little baby feet? Is that real? Is that real? Dude, you guys got to let me know, man. You got to let me know in the comments later. Is it real? Me when I walk into a room with more people than I... Oh, hold on. Let me scroll down so you guys can see better. I got to line this up better, by the way. Me when I walk into a room with more people than I had expected. Do you guys get that, man? I do. I like talking to people, and I like, I'm a sociable guy. But it's one of those things, man, where, you dive really deep into the moment with people, and you're like, okay, this is where I'm going. This is who I'm dealing with. And then it's kind of like draining, and you go home and you just want to sleep. And just go back to the cave. Go back to the man cave and say, I come out in spurts, right? Come out in spurts. What the heck is this? This is getting bad, guys. This is getting bad. What kind of animal is going to be manning that gun? And dude, what a terrible place for that gun. Can you just imagine just how easily it would be that animal's going to get its neck blown off? That's not a good idea. Whoever thought of that idea, you should probably rethink that. 'Cause I feel like those creatures are on our side. You know what I'm saying? Oh, the last meme. Here we go. Okay, we're good. The last meme. Things may be tough now, but there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. Oh, the light at the end of the tunnel. It's true. It's what we're up against, not just with the animal uprising, but with all the New World Order cronies. We really are. I mean, it's satanic at this point, right? There's just no doubt about it. And the world, the diabolical things going on in the world, they need to be exorcised. And we, of course, are part of that exorcising action that is being done in the world, which is why, of course, we tune in every single Monday through Friday. And for the unlisted videos that I know you will enjoy, we're either going to do it tomorrow night, or we're going to do it Saturday, so you got to check that out, of course. Tomorrow, remember, we're going to be talking a lot about family specifically, and talking about things that we can do that have to do with actions we can take pertaining to parenting, being out in nature, how we should treat tech, stuff like that, as well, of course, as current events and the Biden files and everything else. And hopefully, we're going to make sure before the show, we're going to check it out. We're going to make sure that those videos are going to work, because I don't want to have to add even more. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of miss it. I miss being able to watch something, even the gross worms in the eyeball thing. Even the gross worms in the eyeball. I wish I could have seen it. It's like one of those, like, I don't, but I do. And so make sure, of course, check in paleocratdiaries.com for any interviews, speeches, other inquiries. Contact paleocratdiaries@gmail.com. I'm recording a new episode of Paleo Cheese tomorrow. We're going to have a great podcast tomorrow, so there'll be a new one out. Make sure, and you can go and check out The newest episodes of Paleo Cheese, I publish all of those at paleocratdiaries.com, but make sure to subscribe to Paleo Cheese. It's a great show with a great guy. You know, I co-host it, and I love it. It's a really fun time. It's for adults, though, right? And there are some episodes that aren't, but most of the time, it's got a little bit of adult language, stuff like that, adult themes even. And meaning of Catholic, I got to say this. I just got a message today from Tim Flanders, and he's invited me on next week to talk about elections. So I think that's going to happen. Not sure. I might do an election night live stream. What do you guys think of that? So we may do that. All right, everybody. All right, everybody. I'm super grateful. I'm super grateful to have you along the ride. And I'm grateful for all that you do. I'm grateful for how you make my days so great. I love waking up to this, no matter, even if there is technical difficulties. I love it. And I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for all that you've done, not only for the show and for myself, but for the world at large, because you're good people. You're good people, and you're striving the best you can to honor God, to honor your family, and to honor your country. And it's an honor for me to be part of that with you. So, as with every single show, I salute you, and I mean it. And I say, never give up. Keep on smiling. And memento mori. If I don't talk into microphones, I don't make that mad cash. Making all that money. Making that mad loot, right?
Mind control.
So we see the minority elite imposing their ideology on an unwilling and resentful populace. This causes a backlash. People get ticked off.
The left is working long and hard to make us feel as if we've done something wrong. Worse yet, that we are the problem. Don't let people just rip on your heritage. Don't let people just rip on your traditions. Don't let people rip on your heroes. Stand up for what you believe, what made you who you are. So unless this disenfranchised majority begins standing up for what they believe in their heart of hearts to be true, I think we'd be left with nothing more than a dirge, and maybe a funeral procession.